process.
This is the CBS Evening News. Bob Schieffer sitting in tonight for Dan Rather. Good evening. Indications tonight that power is about to change hands in Iran. CBS News has learned that Ayatollah Khomeini, long believed to be ailing, may now be very close to death. Pentagon's correspondent David Martin has the story.
According to intelligence reports, the Ayatollah Khomeini may have only 2 or 3 months to live. The reports say the Ayatollah's cancer has spread from his prostate to his liver. In the past, reports of Khomeini's demise have proved premature. But this time, some U.S. intelligence officers believe the transition to a successor already has begun. Khomeini, who is 88 years old, recently published a new will. And just last week, Hashemi Rafsanjani, the Speaker of the Iranian Parliament, was named Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces, a title which had belonged to Khomeini. Although Khomeini has led the campaign against America the Great Satan, some experts believe his death could actually create a more dangerous situation.
When Khomeini disappears from the scene, it may be a very dangerous time for the rest of the world, because he does hold things together in Iran. And one of the most dangerous circumstances that we could have is a complete breakdown of stability internally in Iran.
U.S. intelligence officials say the Ayatollah Montazeri would succeed Khomeini, but the real power would be wielded by Rafsanjani. He is just as fanatical as Khomeini, but has demonstrated a willingness to make deals, most notably the secret trading of arms for hostages. If the war with Iraq continues to go against Iran, officials say, Rafsanjani may start looking for ways to end Iran's international isolation.
The Iranian revolution itself is rethinking its position in the region. And in rethinking its position in the region, it also has to look at its assets. Among these assets are obviously the American and Western hostages in Lebanon.
Reagan administration officials deny reports there have been recent contacts between Americans and Iranians about the hostages. These officials believe those reports are being circulated by the Iranians to stimulate election year interest in a hostage deal. David Martin, CBS News, the Pentagon.
Just one day after a judge ruled the 4 defendants in the Iran-Contra conspiracy case are entitled to separate trials, the prosecutor decided that Oliver North will go on trial first. Rita Braver reports.
Former National Security aide Oliver North will be tried first because he is considered the central figure in the alleged conspiracy to divert Iranian arms profits to the Contras. Former NSC chief John Poindexter, though higher ranking, is considered more of a figurehead. The decision came after Judge Gerhard Gesell warned that whatever individual's trial goes first may so infringe on the Fifth Amendment rights of one or more other defendants so as to jeopardize some aspects of a subsequent successful prosecution. That means there could be only one trial. And sources say that independent counsel Lawrence Walsh determined the Iran-Contra story would be told best by trying North. However, some legal observers say North's charisma may make him tough to convict.
He is an appealing figure to many people. Secondly, if he takes the stand, he will be articulate in his defense. Thirdly, he has good counsel.
Still, independent counsel Walsh hopes to avoid 4 separate trials. Today, he asked the judge to consider 2 joint trials, one for North and Poindexter, and another for middlemen Richard Secord and Albert Hakim.
Walsh today made the novel proposal that each trial have 2 separate independent juries. That way, if one defendant wants to introduce testimony that might jeopardize the rights of his co-defendant, Walsh says the co-defendant's jury can simply be excused from the courtroom. The judge is not expected to go for that idea, and there's still lots of other legal issues to be resolved before any trial gets underway. Rita Braver, CBS News, Washington.
After a long investigation growing out of last year's insider trading scandal, the government has approved legal action against one of Wall Street's most successful firms. Business correspondent Ray Brady has our report on that.
It's the talk of Wall Street. After 2 years of the biggest brokerage investigation ever, the government has okayed filing charges against Drexel Burnham Lambert.
The shoe was going to drop at some time, and apparently it has dropped.
The shoe started to drop when Dennis Levine, a top Drexel executive, went to jail for insider trading. He fingered Ivan Boesky, now also in jail. Boesky, in turn, allegedly implicated Drexel. In a memo to employees, Drexel called its one-time customer, Ivan Boesky, a convicted felon and admitted liar. Reports say the government investigation could hit Michael Milken, Drexel's star executive, who made an estimated $60 million last year. He and Drexel's president, Fred Joseph, were subpoenaed by a congressional committee looking into securities violations and junk bonds.
The public perception is that what you have done does not pass the smell test.
To clean up its image, Drexel has spent $140 million on legal fees and commercials, claiming its junk bonds create jobs.
Today, those companies employ over 2 million people.
It's the ultimate piece of cynicism. Here, Drexel Burnham was the hardest hit firm in the insider trading scandal. One top executive is in prison, another is under investigation, and they go on the air advertising their humanity and compassion.
Drexel went looking for friends in Washington, reportedly of key lawmakers. Among them, Senator Alphonse D'Amato, more than $56,000. Senator Alan Cranston, more than $41,000. Then Representative Tim Wirth, nearly $24,000.
Late this afternoon, Drexel's president, Fred Joseph, told us the firm is not guilty of any wrongdoing. But a criminal probe of the brokerage being conducted by the U.S. Attorney in New York makes it clear that Drexel's legal problems may be a long way from over. Bob?
Thank you, Ray. George Bush said today he isn't worried about trailing Michael Dukakis in the latest polls, and then proceeded to launch a slashing attack on Dukakis' record. Jacqueline Adams has that story.
George Bush returned to Houston, the city where he launched his political career, to begin a new negative phase in his bid for the presidency, an attempt to portray Michael Dukakis as a liberal to the left of George McGovern.
The season's just begun, and there's no reason to wait for the World Series till we start swinging.
Before a friendly crowd of Texas Republicans, Bush lashed out at Dukakis' opposition to the death penalty, his support for a nuclear freeze, and, said the vice president, his fondness for raising taxes.
He unleashed the tax collectors on the people of Massachusetts, and he's made it no secret that he intends to do it on a national basis. Governor Dukakis, his foreign policy views, born in Harvard Yard's boutique, would cut the muscle of our defense, and I will never do that.
Bush's aides insist the attacks are not a response to the vice president's 10 to 15-point deficit in the national polls.
There's no panic there. I think that the polling this early doesn't represent very much. If it represents anything, it represents the fact that the people don't really have these two men in clear focus. We'd like to make sure they do.
But Democrats warn Bush's new offensive is risky. Instead of appearing aggressive, Bush could end up looking like a whiner.
It can backfire on him. And I think Bush is very close to the line where he could get in more trouble by attacking than he would by first laying out a positive theme for his campaign.
Nonetheless, the vice president's advisors say voters like to see a scrappy George Bush. They think it shows resolve and determination and will help him pass Dukakis, who one aide, in the spirit of the day, called a wimp. Jacqueline Adams, CBS News, Houston.
President Reagan today blamed students of the 1960s and 70s for a large part of the nation's current problems with drugs in the workplace. Speaking to a corporate conference on drug abuse, Mr. Reagan said those students have in many cases taken their destructive drug habits with them into their places of employment. Michael Dukakis escorted his wife Kitty home today from a Boston hospital. She had neck surgery last Friday to repair some damaged spinal discs. They were replaced with bone grafts from her hip, and Mrs. Dukakis says she still feels pretty sore in both places. For the first time, First Lady Nancy Reagan responded in public today to criticism that she is an astrology buff who has too much influence over her husband. White House correspondent Bill Plant has that story now.
Striking back at her critics for the first time since recent Kiss and Tell books detailed her White House role, First Lady Nancy Reagan today again defended her behind-the-scenes power.
No First Lady need make apologies for looking out for her husband's personal welfare.
That role as defender and protector of Ronald Reagan was described most recently in a book by Donald Regan. The former chief of staff, who was forced out of his job by the First Lady, revealed that her consultations with an astrologer had resulted in the president being kept under wraps for several months following his cancer surgery.
And as a wife, I believe that my husband has as much right to a normal recuperation as any other husband. And I think that that's an important, legitimate role for a First Lady to look after a President's health and well-being. And if that interferes with affairs of state, then so be it.
Mrs. Reagan repeated today that she came to 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue naive and completely unprepared for the intense scrutiny.
I just didn't expect it to be that concentrated. And I was even more unprepared for some of the outrageous and silly things I read about myself in the papers.
And what has she learned after almost 8 years?
What I've learned is that you never stop being hurt by stories, but you do stop being surprised.
Those close to Mrs. Reagan say that not only is she neither surprised nor apologetic, but that she is telling the next First Lady not to be afraid to do exactly what she thinks best for herself and her husband. Bill Plant, CBS News, the White House.
And still to come on the CBS Evening News, Bob McNamara on a big flap about the South Platte River, and Jerry Bowen on the normally placid world of yacht racing, now all roiled up about a race between the bully and the poison pill.
It's been said that form should always follow function. But on rare occasions, the function is already so highly advanced that the form is free to pursue absolute beauty. Introducing the Mercedes-Benz 300 CE Coupe.
Looks like a hungry group this morning.
You bet.
Good, because to stack up to the vitamins in one bowl of Total, it takes almost 3 bowls of Special K.
Trudy, all of the grape nuts.
Takes 4 bowls of that.
Watch this. Shredded wheat.
12 bowls.
Good, Delaney. Separate checks, please.
With 1 bowl of Total, you get 100% of 9 vitamins and iron, and it's the only cereal that's a major source of calcium.
We always love the stuff.
Total, a stack of nutrition in just 1 bowl.
On their vacation, they had everything planned. Everything except this. So don't carry cash. Carry American Express traveler's checks. Don't leave home without them.
This man is twice as strong as this man. Tom's EX is twice as strong as Rolaids. So when you have heartburn, get the stronger acid neutralizer. Tom's EX, twice as strong as Rolaids.
An unusual legal development today. A federal appeals court in San Francisco nullified one of its own landmark rulings. The court now wants to reconsider the February decision to strike down the U.S. Army's ban on homosexuals. The court did not say why it has ordered a new hearing. A young girl who had been riding her bicycle on a dirt road in Arizona disappeared Monday, and authorities fear that she was kidnapped. The incident has shocked the local community, and a massive search is underway. A report from David Dow.
It is a search of military proportions through the wooded outskirts of Flagstaff, Arizona. A search for 9-year-old Jennifer Wilson, the missing daughter of a prominent Yuma contractor.
He and his family have given to the city of Yuma for years. And when this occurred to his daughter, kind of a shockwave went through the city.
And 125 Marines responded, joining nearly 200 National Guardsmen and law enforcement officers. Police say Jennifer was apparently kidnapped Monday as she rode her bicycle through a ranch area where the family was vacationing. Only her bicycle has been found, despite a flurry of posters, reward offers, and more than 200 phone calls to police from members of a stunned community.
I think it's absolutely just terrifying.
After a high-speed chase, police arrested this man Monday night, driving a vehicle resembling one seen in the area where Jennifer disappeared. Police say they so far haven't linked him to the disappearance, though he's not been totally eliminated as a suspect. Meanwhile, the search continues through rugged country that yields no clues.
That's all we're doing is looking for a needle in a haystack.
A search for a little girl that everyone hopes is somehow alive and well. David Dow, CBS News, Phoenix.
The governor of Colorado is expected to announce a decision tomorrow that may have effects well beyond the state's boundaries. It spotlights an increasingly troublesome issue on the American scene: natural resources versus development. Bob McNamara with that.
The South Platte River is all a Colorado mountain stream should be. Icy clear, a trout fishing mecca, a weekend escape. But here Denver's Water Board and 42 suburban districts would build a massive dam flooding 20 miles of River Canyon. The Two Forks Dam project would make this disappear.
I would like to be able to bring my kids up here. And if Two Forks goes through, they'll never see this.
Like other Colorado dams, Two Forks would be a billion-dollar concrete and steel curtain almost half as tall as the Empire State Building. Its reservoir holding the water Denver and suburbs say they'll someday need.
Our responsibility simply is to make sure and plan for a water supply to meet the expected growth.
But a building boom, critics say, that brought Denver's water shortage fears has fizzled, while the economic and population growth have slowed.
No way can I personally justify the destroying of the South Platte River for green lawns in metropolitan Denver.
And though 30% of Two Forks water would sprinkle Denver and suburban lawns, the controversy goes beyond Colorado. On Nebraska's Platte River bottoms, 500,000 sandhill cranes spend a month each spring migrating north. Two Forks opponents say the Colorado Dam could destroy the bird's refuge.
We think that its destructive potential is absolutely enormous, and what's more, we think it's unnecessary.
The dam's debate has been bitter, one that newspaper polls are made of.
This state is very divided on this issue.
Colorado's governor is the man in the middle. Roy Romer promising to tell federal officials tomorrow whether he's for or against the dam or perhaps favor a statewide vote. His decision is crucial.
We have an obligation, all of us in this room and others, to work through this problem called Two Forks without polarizing this state if we can do it.
In the end, it's the Army Corps of Engineers and the Forest Service that decide if the dam is built. That decision could come by fall. Bob McNamara, CBS News, Denver.
The Senate gave final approval today to new restrictions on the use of polygraph tests by private industry. Under the law, the so-called lie detector test now could only be given to employees directly suspected of wrongdoing and to job applicants in 2 lines of work, security guards, and some drug industry workers.
If you thought you had to give up comfort to get a close shave, Norelco says, think again. Their revolutionary shaving system shaves skin close in a way that's incredibly comfortable. As the hair enters the chamber, the patented lift and cut system lifts each hair and holds it a split second before a blade cuts it. So it's possible to shave skin close without the blades even touching the skin. Norelco Rotatract. We made close comfortable.
Why do they call it heartburn? When it's me, your stomach, that's hurting. When antacids don't stop the pain from coming back, it could be an ulcer. It's okay, because there are treatment programs to help heal ulcers. If you think you have an ulcer, go see your doctor and ask about the available treatment programs. Sponsored by SmithKline and French, the ulcer experts. You could make your stomach very happy.
What's the best kind of fruit? The kind that's fresh, moist, and plump. That's why Sunsweet are my favorite kind of pitted prunes. Moist, plump, and fresh. Sunsweet, because the best prunes are fresh prunes.
Shopping can make you feel terrific when you find fabulous color, fit, and style. But when you also find the Made in the USA label, you feel even better. It's a great feeling.
Made in the USA.
South African President P.W. Botha today renewed the government's 2-year-old state of emergency for another year. He said the action is needed to maintain order in what he called a revolutionary climate. Thousands of South Korean students demanding to hold their own reunification talks with the North battle police today on the streets of Seoul. Richard Wagner with that.
Today's clash pitted riot police against radical students who want to march to the borders between the 2 Koreas tomorrow and meet with students from the North. The police have orders to stop the march. The dissidents say they're determined to go to the demilitarized zone to talk about reunifying this partitioned country, and the government here is dead set against the idea. The South Korean administration thinks any reunification talks should be held between two governments, not between two groups of students. To underscore its resolve, the Seoul leadership has mustered more than 50,000 security personnel to prevent the meeting from taking place. Undeterred, the dissidents plan to go ahead, and 13 of them have said they'll commit suicide by burning themselves to death if the government stands in their way. With the protest suicides of 3 students in the last month, it's a threat not lightly dismissed. Another threat facing the government here was highlighted today by visiting United States Defense Secretary Frank Carlucci. The secretary was referring to the Olympic Games, which open in Seoul 100 days from today.
North Korea has manifested throughout the years very aggressive behavior. So we certainly cannot rule out the possibility that they would attempt to disrupt the Olympics.
Flags of the 161 nations participating in the 24th Olympiad were raised today in the center of South Korea's capital. One pennant, which was not run up a flagpole, was that of North Korea. Richard Wagner, CBS News, Seoul.
Incidentally, tonight on 48 Hours, CBS News will show you how America's Olympic athletes are training for the Seoul Games. The broadcast is at 8/7 Central Time. The U.S. Embassy in Beijing put out an urgent security warning today for all Americans in the Chinese capital. The embassy says that Chinese officials have learned foreign terrorists may be planning attacks on U.S. citizens in Beijing. The Reagan administration identifies the alleged terrorists only as, quote, Middle Eastern types. Soviet Foreign Minister Shevardnadze and Israeli Prime Minister Shamir had what they call friendly and useful talks at the UN today. But afterward, Shevardnadze said diplomatic ties broken in 1967 cannot be restored until Israel agrees to join an international peace conference on the Mideast. In Algiers, Arab leaders are wrapping up a 3-day summit and reportedly agreed today to finance the Palestinian uprising in the Israeli-occupied territories. According to one report, the Arab League may give the PLO more than $100 million a year.
This is amazing. I could eat this yo plate 150 for any number of reasons. It only has 150 calories, it has no fat, and it tastes better to me than those fat yogurts. But that's not it. I eat it because I want to get in tune with my body. I want to create a balance between good taste and good for you. And I'm going to get into this French leotard.
If you love fruit on the bottom yogurt, but not all the calories, try Yoplait 150.
These are teeny weeny calories.
With low back pain, walking can be agony, where every step shoots pain. Up here, you know what helps? New back guard.
Clinically proven back guard is a shoe insert for low back pain aggravated by foot shock. Back guard with its shock trapper module relieves this low back pain. Watch how it helps absorb shock upon impact to reduce the shock to your back.
Amazing. Something down here can help up here.
New back guard from Dr. Scholl's. Absorb shock all day to help keep back pain away.
I just got dentures, but it hasn't slowed me down.
Start to be the 45, want to hear 45, 45.
Fixodent and forget it. Fixodent helps fix loose spots for a strong hold that lasts longer than any leading cream.
Two, I hear 25, want to hear 25, 25.
Use Fixodent and forget it.
Now for indigestion, gas. Introducing new Extra Strength Malox Plus. It neutralizes more than any leading antacid and dissolves gas. Nobody does as much as new Extra Strength Malox Plus.
New Zealand against the United States. It's David squaring off against Goliath, all right. But in this case, guess who's David? Jerry Bowen reports.
Bands are playing, banners are rippling, and every blue-blazered yachty worth his portfolio knows it's that time again. Time to fight. Fight for the America's Cup. And this time, wouldn't you know it, America is up against a bully.
He is the bully that started it. A lot of pressure on us to keep it here because America really enjoyed that victory, and I don't think they want this sandbagger to take it away.
To hear Dennis Conner tell it, he and his pals at the San Diego Yacht Club barely had time to enjoy their victory last year when this bully from New Zealand did a very sneaky thing. Millionaire banker Michael Fay actually read the rules of the contest and decided he could launch his own challenge. No invitation needed, thank you. An American court agreed, and the Kiwis built a monster yacht, 123 feet long, an aircraft carrier compared to the usual entry.
I think it's impossible to look at it and not get that
sort of tight feeling that this is special, this is different, this is a magic boat.
You want magic, responded the Yanks? Shazam! Race this. A much smaller but much faster catamaran. State of the art, with a sail like an airplane wing. David against Goliath.
I hope that our poison pill here is good enough to beat him.
That's what this is?
Yes, sir. We're trying to avoid an unfriendly takeover of the America's Cup, and this is the thing we're going to use to discourage him from taking it away.
It's a little bit like the famous American eagle and our New Zealand kiwi bird. I mean, they are very, very different, though they're two birds. Ours doesn't even, believe it or not, fly.
Not surprisingly, a small armada of the world's press came to witness the unveiling of the zippy American poison pill, including a chap from New Zealand radio.
Because the irony that I find and love here is that the largest nation, the biggest nation on Earth, has got this relatively small 60-foot yacht with a tiny little sail, and us, this tiny nation from down there, are going to come here in 2 days with a giant that's going to make this look like a piddle in a puddle.
Well, the Kiwi giant is off San Diego now, making circles in the puddle, but the ladies and gentlemen of the yacht club are still betting on their piddle.
Are we playing fair? Of course.
Anything goes in America.
Really?
Let's give Michael Fay the bird! Yeah!
The speed difference between a large multi-hull and any size monohull would turn this match into a farce.
Any day now, a judge is to rule on what's a farce and what will float. Any day there may actually be a race.
Oh, beautiful for spacious skies.
For now, a call to arms. Blue blazered arms, if you please. It's time to hold tight to your champagne flutes. Time to stand, to sail united.
That's the Yankee way, isn't it?
Piddle indeed. Jerry Bowen, CBS News, San Diego.
That's the CBS Evening News. Bob Schieffer sitting in tonight for Dan Rather. Good night.
It's here. Traffic 2 over. A sleek new example of design leadership. A sophisticated sports sedan with true feel-of-the-road handling. Its name, Ford Tempo GLS. The new Ford Tempo GLS. A more sophisticated way to express your driving ambition.
Now get a $500 cash bonus from Ford on two-door and all-wheel drive model Tempos.
A couple of months ago, we gave a piece of our long-distance business to MCI. Our approach here is one step at a time. Then MCI told us we could have the same dedicated lines for domestic and international. They could design the software to tie all our messaging systems together. They showed us things about voice and data I didn't know they could do. Things AT&T wouldn't do. So much for one step at a time.
Until you call, you'll never know how much better a long-distance company can be. MCI. Let us show you.
Scott Emerson once had a heart attack. Today, he had a son. Studies show Bayer aspirin can help prevent a second heart attack. Ask your doctor about a regimen of exercise, the right foods, and Bayer, the wonder drug that works wonders.
How could Thompson's water seal be improved? It's great already. Well, Thompson's could apply itself, but we've improved Thompson's with 50% more active ingredients for more waterproofing power on wood, brick, and concrete. Thompson's, the first name in lasting protection.
Medal fever, the race to the Summer Olympics as America's best train to turn their dreams to gold. 48 hours tonight.
This is CBS.
Coming up next on Eyewitness News, efforts are underway to assure ethics among Metro government employees with one notable exception. We'll tell you who that is.
Can we afford more money for police and fire protection? That question is before the city council members tonight. And the Symphony says bankruptcy may be the only way out.
Plus a show of force at Fort Campbell. Join us for those stories and more coming up after this.
And now, more T. Marzetti's Salad Ventures. Begin with a leafy bed of bok choy and spinach. Add Chinese pea pods, water chestnuts, and shredded